Hello and welcome to the Tech Show. Coming up this week, we look at that Propain Sresh. Easy for you to say.
Yeah, it was. Easier for me is a new forbidden Dreadnaught. Very exciting.
Yep, and we deep dive into all of the new Fox suspension tech.
Plush.
Okay, there's a lot to be excited about in the Fox camp at the moment because not only have they released a new edit with Jackson Goldstone on their new 50th year anniversary Podium Gold limited edition gold Kashima lowered forks to match the upper stanchions. And not only have they released 3 new dampers, check it, not one,
3.
but 3. They've also released brand new XC forks for the new 32 step cast. So yeah, we need to deep dive into all of this and try and decipher it for our lovely viewers here and see, is it all marketing BS or are we actually going to get something more than just some gold lowers? So let's look at this Fox 32 SC, which is the step cast. Effectively, come on.
Sorry, right.
You may have noticed that the arch is now on the rear. Big news. So what they've done is, I guess, obviously, like what Manitou have done, is move the arch to the back because it means you can actually keep the rigidity with less material. Because if you have the arch at the front, you effectively need more space and material to go over the curvature of the tyre. But at the back, you can actually have a lower profile. And also, you may have noticed a sort of unusual lattice work, and that was AI generated.
That's fascinating.
The computers are taking over.
I had seen that in some kind of like engineering magazines about, effectively engineers being able to use AI to develop the shapes and these net shapes, opposed to someone sort of like chiseling away at a block and going, oh, I think that looks nice. Just letting AI go, cool, here's the load points, and this is what the shape that you'll need to do that successfully.
Exactly.
So that's really amazing.
And we've seen some similar things with 3D printed or additive manufactured parts with this sort of lattice structure to get rigidity with less material, making it lighter and stiffer, which usually are opposing adjectives in the bike world, aren't they? But this is die cast, it's not 3D printed, so it is standard Fox manufacturing techniques. But in this new fork, they've also shaved a whole heap of stuff. So let me get my list here. So the new damper, which I will explain, actually saves 65 grams. They've got 12 grams was saved in just using the Cobalt axle instead of the older one. They saved 9 in the upper tube, 11 grams in just the steerer tube.
That's almost 3 Smarties.
Exactly, and 9 grams in the crown because it's now no longer a 0 offset. And also 1 very important gram saved in the cable routing. How they've done that?
I mean, that's half a Smartie.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's impressive.
But, every little counts, so it all adds up to 120 grams, 107 grams, sorry. 107 grams total. So that takes it to around, well, actually, it's sub 1,300 grams for an XC fork, so it's their lightest marathon fork.
Yeah, I mean, that is light. I mean, it is 29er and 100mm only, so it is sort of on that XC hardcore, not venturing almost flat bar gravel, dare we say.
Yeah, it's a good point, yeah.
So, but still, I mean, that's really light.
It is really light.
There's
if
rigid
that is your
forks out
bag.
there that are more than that, so yeah.
And they look good. They're coming in the black and the Fox orange, but you can get them for a limited time only in that limited gold if you really like it. I think it looks okay. Depends on the colour of the bike, I'm going to say. Controversial opinion there.
No, I think you're matching your gold bike, it's fine. Or titanium bike, that would look amazing. So
yeah.
So okay, so there's 3 different dampers.
Yes, okay.
What's the tech there? Is it good, better, best, or is it some other space alien tech that they've incorporated?
Well, you would say it was good, better, best, but I'm saying there's 3 different purposes here. So we've got Grip SL, which is going on the 32s and the 34s. So it is the super light. It is basically trying to be the lightest. It's intending to be, let me get my data right here. It is intended to be 60 grams lighter than the old Fit 4, so that's
okay. So we're same with chunk for a cross country vault. Yeah.
We've got the Grip X, which is a 3-position control. So usually with the Fox factory forks, the Grip 2 damper, you'd have high speed and low speed compression at the top. You'd have high speed and low speed rebound on the bottom. So you get that in the new Grip X2, but this new Grip X basically forgoes the high and the low rebound. So it shifts a little bit of weight, and also they said the people who are using this one are usually using it on the trail bikes in the middle. They're not going to be, fine-tuning that rebound for race situations like on the enduro and on the downhill bikes.
Probably get rid of some more of that compression, but that's a whole separate discussion.
Well, let's talk about this because there's
another damper. What's the extra damper? We've got 3.
Oh no, SL.
Yeah, Grip X.
X2, which is all 4 adjustments, and Grip X, which is just the 3-way adjustment.
Yep. Okay, cool.
And that Grip SL, not only is it lighter, but they are now given a sort of a remote option to lock out as well as just manual lockout. But the big news here, if I haven't confused you enough with those 3 dampers, is that these new dampers have effectively given more space for shims or valves, whatever you choose to call them, which is those little stacks of dimes in your oil, in your damper, which blow through all the oil and basically give you a feeling of softer firm. Can I be that, like, not black and white? Can I be that basic?
The shim stack and the valve with the oil flow offer the control and support for your fork.
And you can change the sizes of those shims to control how that moves through the oil. So effectively now what they've done is they've made the dampers from 20 mil to 24 mil, so given more space, and they've increased the amount of shims, which means more shims, more tunability.
Yeah.
But also more space means more plushness, apparently. So decipher whether this is marketing BS.
No, I think more, so effectively shims are, as they're described, it's like a little tiny bit of metal that covers the valve holes and then it flexes. And depending on if you've got a spring that's holding those into place to help control this flow. So we're talking, it's like when you're on the beach and you're playing and making dams with a water flow or maybe a river with rocks and stuff like that. That's what we're doing in a suspension unit, is we're controlling that flow of fluid. So, okay, the spring is holding you up and then this damper stuff is doing the control bit. So it's kind of like, effectively, it's dissipating all that energy into heat. So that's why oil's really good, is because it kind of transfers it. So having more space for shims is good, and having more shims is good. And moving from 7 to 23 shims, and it looping back around, that is tiny little slivers of metal discs. And stiffness is a kind of a funny one, whereas you could have 2 shims that add up to the same as 1 shim of the same thickness. The one that's thicker is going to be stiffer because it's going to take more force to overcome and change its shape to allow that oil to flow. So if you've got 2 smaller shims, you might go, oh, well, it's the same.
Right.
But the force to make those flex is different. So that's why having more of these shims and the shape of the valving can do lots.
So having more thinner ones, regardless of how they've arranged them in size, means that it is potentially plusher.
Well, the arrangement, that's a whole different kettle of fish.
Okay.
And that's one where we can go and potentially we'll do an out of the workshop, out of the office experience, where we go and have a look at how the dampers work in person, because it's one of those ones where you fall into the rabbit hole of I think I know a bit, and then you kind of research some more and you read a book and you're like, oh my God, I know a bit less. And then
like quantum physics, you think you understand?
I don't think it's that hard.
Okay,
no, it's not that hard. It is. It's just
Okay,
just
well
fluid dynamics.
maybe that goes to some way in explaining how they've made this new damper plusher, but they've also said that it is now more supportive, which again, opposing adjectives that we should usually be using in suspension. How can it be plusher and more supportive? Well, they've apparently now used the high-speed compression activates a, what did I call it? A wave spring.
Yep.
Before it starts to have any effect on the
shim
stacks, yes. So effectively the first 90 degrees of a usually 170 movement of high-speed compression has no effect on those shims, so it has no effect on the sensitivity of your damper. So previously, I think many people have complained before that they run their high-speed compression wide open because it gives you a nice sensitive fork, and adding that generally reduces the sensitivity of the fork. Now, for the first few handfuls of clicks, it shouldn't do that.
Which, yeah, I guess this is where we can get really complicated really quickly, but it's that thing of when we talk about compression damping and we talk about rebound damping, we often talk about high speed and we talk about low speed, and that's not speed that your bike's going, it's the speed of that fork compressing or the shock compressing. And so those can be at high speed or they can be at low speed. And unfortunately, it's not so much that it's binary in terms of I've used the low speed and now clicking into the high speed. There isn't like a tipping point per se, so it's sort of like both ends are the same, that we're affecting damping, we're affecting control. So it's fantastic that this new setup that Fox have got says that they've got more control over these kind of like finite sections of where those gradients happen, but I guess it's like a binary name for something that's actually not. It's not black and white. It's a gradient, not just on or off.
Well, let's ask our tech-savvy tech viewers and say, does this sound like marketing BS, or does the idea that you can actually dial on some high-speed compression and not affect the plushness of your fork sound like a good thing, or marketing BS? Who knows? Let us know down in the comments below. Okay, on to the news. So Raceface have released the carbon and alloy bars, new ones. So carbon is Era and alloy is Turbine. However, the design should be exactly the same on both, and they're trying to get you the same feel with the different materials as well, but they've given you the options because some people prefer one or the other, and also there is a price difference to be had. But effectively what they're doing is saying that the compliance shifts when you start cutting down bars. So if you buy an 800mm bar and you cut them down to 760, they become stiffer, they're less compliant. So they don't want that anymore. So they've given you 3 different sizes. So you've got an 800, a 780 and a 760. And you can cut down a little bit if you're between
that makes a lot of sense.
780, but 10mm of change should be less than 20 to 40 effectively. The shape is different as well. They're effectively giving you the rise and the taper much sooner in the bars, which should give you more compliance. Apparently they've done lots of tests and lots of blind testing for the last 3 years, and they've settled on this, and this is a game changer for arm pump and compliance. So really interesting stuff. Looking at the Era handlebars would be $169.99 US, and the Turbine will be $89.99 US.
I got really excited about that, but then I saw it's kind of a 35mm clamp, which is a bit stiffer.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Being vintage.
Actually, it's interesting you brought that up, but they said that the smaller diameters they found in testing to be stiffer, and so they've gone with the 35 clamp because they think it's more compliant.
Oh, right, there we
go.
Wow.
Interesting. And available in loads of different colours as well.
Very controversial for Just Tech, the new Propain Sresh. Effectively, it's a new e-bike from Propain. It's lightweight, but full power. So I can almost hear Jonesy shouting from the hills that he's pleased by that because, he's got some interesting views on lightweight, non-full power e-bikes. But yeah, target weight of 21 kgs, which is really impressive for a full fat e-bike. We've got a 66 watt-hour battery, 85 Newton meter motor from Shimano, 150mm of travel, 160 forks. I mean, yeah. I would like one. It would be mint.
So the new Forbidden Dreadnaught has come out in a version 2 as well. Not only does it look pretty delicious in that bloody Sabbath red and yellow paint job, but they've also given the suspension an update, which you would have already seen on the Supernaut and the Druid. So I believe, did you say it was previously a single pivot linkage driven? Now it's a 4-bar.
It is, yeah.
High pivot, still high pivot.
Yeah, still high pivot, but we're changing the axle path and stuff. So it's really interesting to see. Yeah.
And they've also got these swappable dropouts, which effectively means you can change the chainstay lengths, but also you can swap out from 29 to 27.5, as is popular these days. It's now a more centered geometry as well, but they haven't made drastic changes here. It's still a big 160mm enduro rig. starting at $6,499 for a full build, but that is SRAM GX Eagle transmission with the new Maven bronze brakes and a RockShox Zeb Select.
Wow, that's actually pretty spendy. I know that
it is, but it
Forbidden
is a
stuff is really
bougie
well
boutique
designed, but wow, that's
frame.
yeah, cool. I mean, thoughts on pricing there in the comments, please. Now, I really like this new Bluegrass helmet. It's a sort of styled like a Moto Trials helmet. So you've got like full protection, but you don't have a chin guard. I think it's really cool. It's called the Jetro. Not sure if that's like a...
I think it's Jetro.
There, I was going to do a
Jethro joke. You were going to do a Jethro joke.
Well, no, it's more of a useless fact about Jethro Tull in terms of he
then.
invented the seed drill. So modern agriculture owes everything to him. So yeah, wild new shape. It's meant to dissipate energy better. Well, it is. Well, I've never seen a wonderful. Okay, maybe other.
I think Gyro did one once. But yeah, it's like motorcycle nostalgia.
This is full moto. I think this is like
full
Troy
moto. Full moto.
Yeah. Flexible visor, fidlock clamp, goggle compatible for full like moto styling. Look, wicked.
Yeah.
600 grams, okay, ish for a medium. 250 euros, 225 in price. So yeah, it's got MIPS C2 version too. So it is full featured. I like it.
I love how you're always surprised by the news, like we don't prepare.
But I think it's good.
Yeah. Cool. In other news, Michelin have now sponsored the UCI mountain bike series, and in celebration they have released 3 new downhill tyres. So we have the catchily named DH22, which is effectively for mud and soft terrain, the DH16, which is for hard mixed terrain, and the DH Mud, you guessed it,
sandy conditions.
Terrain. And they've now got this dual casing 55 versus 120 TPI, so that you can get some support for, railing those corners like you do, Owen, or just, generally improving the lack of flexibility, making them less flexy. Yes, that is it. That's what I'm going with. And they are priced at $79.99 per tyre for each of those. And apparently 11% lighter, so what's not to like? Also, one-up winner.
Oh,
drum roll.
There was a lot that you won in that one-up.
Yes, you have won,
big
and you are Rob Williams, Rob with a double B. Ta-da! Explosions. You have got your choice of dropper post with the remote, the stem, the carbon bars, and the grips. So we will be in touch. Okay, quiz time. Last week we asked you where was Formula based, and they are based
in Italy.
Yeah, in Tuscany. So well done, all of you on the screen, quite a lot of you this week who got that right. And my question now for you is, obviously we've just seen the release of the new Cashmere Gold lower forks, and we know Fox as being factory orange, don't we? But what colour were the first ever Fox mountain bike suspension forks in? What colour were they? Yeah,
bonus points if you give us the year when they first came out.
Oh, yeah. Or a rider who was riding them. Why not?
Well, yeah, or team. I mean, we can get really carried away. Yeah, go for it.
Just wrap this up. Yeah, leave your comments in the comments. Okay, last week we were talking about the Formula Belvers, the new triple clamp, dual crown enduro fork, which cameraman Matty absolutely loves. The comments.
Always good. Love comments. Get in there, please.
Yam says, I mean, if downcountry can exist, why can't these? Either they sell or they don't. I mean, it's a good point.
Yeah, no, that's valid. User hated long username. I like the idea of dual crown on enduro bike. Weight remains the same, but stiffness, suspension, and dial capabilities. I guess how you can dial
space.
it in. Yeah. Along with increased longevity. Only disadvantages would be reduced turning radius. I mean, increased longevity because you've got more. It's good.
That wouldn't work for proper EDR courses because some of them are like switchback goat tech.
No, I still think it'd be good, but I'm not doing EDR, so it's fine.
Tiny Workshop says, I have a Boxer on my Canevo and I absolutely love it. So he's already rocking that.
Escobar has got a comment. Yeah, 1990s. He's saying that RockShox had the Sid and Judy triple clamp or dual crown, and he's still got the Judy XL on his 90s bike. Very good.
Yeah.
Really cool. It was this awesome purple colour with great graphics. Those looked amazing.
Well, you can get the Belvers in purple, just saying.
But this was like this wonderful deep aubergine. So yeah, send us a picture, Escobar, please. Thank
Chops00 says e-bikes need dual crown, but then Lopon says I've been running dual crown for years on my enduro bike. I don't know what you've been running. That would be interesting. Maybe the Mosaic. Who's doing? Is it Mosaic doing dual
Well,
crown
technically,
already?
Spesh. I mean, there's been quite a few iterations, but Spesh did their own dedicated fork.
Yeah,
a while
didn't that
ago.
come on the enduro?
Yeah, it did. Future
Yeah.
Shock back in 2000.
I remember actually, speaking
Yeah,
of that,
that's
Jackson
good.
Daniel says, this is nothing new. My 2000 Specialized FSR Big Hit had the Marzocchi Junior T triples on there.
Yeah, but that
would
was
I
like
use
a
it?
free
Yes.
ride rig. He was like, he was mixed wheel size.
It was the Big Hit, yeah.
Big Hits had like 24-inch back wheel with a 3-inch tyre as well.
Oh, the original mullet, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
mixed wheel size. Don't confuse with anything else. Yeah, and Yo Mama Stupid. Well, so's your mama. That fork costs the
stupid.
same as a bike. Yeah, look, stuff is expensive. So
Doesn't mean
there's
you have to
options
buy
out.
it.
No, you don't have to buy it. But for some people, they want to go for it. But value is perceived by you alone.
anyway, what's coming up this week? On Saturday, we show you how to set up your bike perfectly for you so it feels this nice, custom feeling bike. And then on Sunday, we are looking at suspension layouts. Oh, I'm really excited about this because it should show you, with good graphics and visuals, what these suspension layouts actually are so that you can then look at a bike and just be like, that's a...
Single pivot.
Yeah.
Single
And then
pivot
you'll
with a
know.
link activated shock. It's a faux bar.
Yeah.
It's a 4-bar. It's actually a 6-bar
What is
link.
it, a 4-bar high pivot linkage
Wow.
driven single
Is it
pivot?
virtual pivot?
Who knows? You'll know after
You'll know,
watching
yeah.
that video on Sunday. So thank you for watching for now.